until we get to spring training on the home of the Rangers. This is exciting, and I could not wait for last night. I was bored out of my mind in the first half. There was one assist between each other leading to a basket, but otherwise it was either Luka on the floor or Kyrie on the floor, and then Kyrie took over in the fourth quarter. But last night was very, very boring in the first half, but I'm fascinated to watch this and how it ends up. How could it not be fascinating with Luka finally getting a co-star and Kyrie Irving in general?
We don't talk enough, by the way, about how gorgeous those uniforms are they were wearing last night. Those blue, the retro.
I like the color of them. The way the writing is, where it says Dallas, it's got too much of a Toronto Blue Jays look to it, and that bothers me.
It's supposed to look like kind of like a 70s neon sign.
If I wanted 70s, I'd have moved there.
All right. Mavs, true or false? Little pop quiz.
True or fart, as Walchuk would say.
On the truckwreck.com text line at 877-881-1053. The Mavericks will continue to play at this lightning quick pace with Luka.
False. That pace. I was talking to Dawson about this on the crosstalk or whatever the hell it was when I was in Arizona. Unsustainable. That pace is unsustainable for this team to play. They'll play at that pace when Luka's out and Kyrie is in. But, Luka's not that kind of guy. He's not going to play at that kind of fever pitch. So I will say false.
False. They'll slow it down a tad because, like, Luka, as they look to find their comfort in how they play with each other, I think you're going to find a happy medium in between where it's going to be a greater pace than they were playing with Luka for sure. Luka wants to slow things down. Luka wants to find the mismatch. Like, that's how Luka wants to play things. Kyrie wants to get the ball moving. And eventually they'll just find some middle ground that works.
The Mavericks offense actually looks better with Luka on the sideline. True or false?
True. True. I mean, just look at the scores. Look at the scores. So I will say true.
True for now. It looks better with Luka on the sideline. It looks better with Kyrie on the sideline. When they're together, it's like that's the problem right now is that when they are playing together, I think it's slowing. They're still trying to find each other's rhythm. And so there's a feeling out process and establishing how they want to approach things and how they want to attack defenses. And I think it's going to look like the roughest of the three combinations until they get in sync a little bit.
Yeah, I think it looks better with Luka on the sideline right now. It's crisper, it's faster, there's way more pace. Guys seem to be in better rhythm. Kyrie finds guys better. So right now it's more enjoyable for me to watch like the Mavs offense and ball movement with Luka Doncic not on the floor with him.
It's not a good sign though.
Well,
I mean, not right now. I mean, eventually.
Do we think it's not gonna? I mean, they're both two amazing passers. They're both two really smart guys. Right now, I'm assuming that they are both unselfish. That would lead me to believe it's going to work.
We saw this. We saw the same thing in 2011, man. We saw the same thing in the NBA Finals. Sitting there, LeBron and D Wade just pat. No, you take it. No, you take it. That was in the finals. That was after they played together for an entire year. It may not happen overnight.
No, True or false? Luka should defer to Kyrie right now.
False. They shouldn't. Neither one should defer to either one. If you're open, take a shot. If you've got the ball and you see an opening, you see a lane, take it. Nobody should defer to anybody here. You're on the floor in an NBA game. If you're open, shoot the ball. I don't care who you are. If you're open, shoot it.
And you feel that vice versa, that Kyrie should not defer to Luka.
Correct. I mean, I don't care if it's Christian Wood. If you're open, take the shot.
Sort of, yeah, false. Like I'll say false just because on that idea of it, that I don't know that I want either one of them deferring. I want them playing in sync. I want them playing together. But if you're asking me on the last night, you're taking a final shot. Last night I wanted Kyrie to take it. It's a 3-point shot. But if you're talking about just you're down by one, ball out of bounds, 10 seconds left, I want that being Luka almost every time because that's going to be Luka's spot. All right, 10 seconds, he can slow things down, get to his spot, find his matchup, and take the shot. So at the end of games, I want it being Luka.
Maxey is more important than Christian Wood.
Maxey is more important than Christian Wood. No, false. The cute little defensive story is great, wonderful. Give me a guy who can score. Give me the offense. Now, Max can score.
God, you want to make me... we got to do this in another sport now? We accepted your defense doesn't matter in football. Now we got to do it for the NBA as well. You think it is as meaningless in both sports?
People don't watch for 80 to 80. They watch for points. That's what they come in for.
Thanks, Coach.
No, see, defense matters in football. It's not going to pay for it. You can find this similar production at a cheaper cost. In basketball, I mean, the Golden State Warriors showed, just let's score, outscore the other team.
Warriors were a great.
The Warriors were a good
team.
defensive team.
They were a good team defensive. They had Draymond and Clay, and Clay's really good on the outside, but. They didn't win that game, those series, because they had good defense. They won because they could just outscore.
The game plays at a higher pace, and so everybody scores more. But I mean, efficiently wise, you still have to be an efficient defense. False or true. Max is more important, and it's because of how they choose to deploy Wood and how they choose to deploy Maxey.
Well, that's different. That's a totally different argument to me.
Christian's a better player. Maxey's more important based off of how Jason Kidd calls this.
That's
team.
fair. That's fair, and that's a problem.
Well, Maxey can't do what Christian does, but they can't do what each other can do. Maxey is more important than Christian Wood to this team. But Christian Wood can't play defense, and Maxey Kleber can only shoot spot-up threes. So they couldn't be the other person if they wanted to. That's the answer to that. Maxey is more valuable. They desperately need him to come back and provide some type of presence in the paint. Last night was embarrassing. That was a joke. In terms of that defense, it was awful. All right, Mavs, true or false on the truckwreck.com text line, 877-881-1053. Jason Kidd gives the Mavericks a coaching advantage on most nights.
False.
Ooh.
I think he's neither an advantage nor a disadvantage on most nights. I mean, there are some that he's an advantage, but I think generally I just think he's a good coach. So I guess if he's top 12 or so, he would give him an advantage on more nights than not.
What has changed the most about your opinion on Jason Kidd from last year to this year?
His inability to drop a play at the end of a game. My gosh. How does a guy who's a point guard not know how to do this? Now, maybe he just saw the floor differently and he can't draw it up on paper. I don't know. Or maybe they're not trying to do one. But day to day and during the regular season, I mean, do you think he's a better coach than Rick Carlisle right now?
I haven't watched 1 second of Pacers basketball.
Well, no, just from what you saw with the Mavs. I mean, it's different. Like Kidd may be better managing the people, and Rick's better at the X's and O's, or who knows, but I don't know.
No, I think that's fair. I think Rick was better at X's and O's. I don't think anybody consistently during Rick's time here in Dallas, nobody used timeouts better than Rick. Like to slow the pace of the game, to change up a run, like to break a run, things like that. He was really good at that. The problem was obviously his people skills and getting guys to buy in like that. So I will say the question is, he gives them an advantage most nights.
He's a coaching advantage.
True, slightly, because I do think he's probably in the top half of coaches in the league. But I mean, there have been other issues about like drawing things up on the game, the stubbornness with Christian Wood, some of the rotation questions that we get, and so there are definitely some holes. And then some things that you worry about. But for me, the biggest difference this year from last year has been the stubbornness. Like, there are just some Brooklyn, Milwaukee tendencies, it feels like, with the way he's handled Christian Wood.
Final one. The Mavericks will win a playoff series.
True.
Ooh, no hesitation.
No, none.
Why?
Because they're going to have the best player on the floor in majority of the series. They're going to take one of them.
Well, right now, they would go to Phoenix first round. You want to hesitate? You want to hold on that?
No, because it probably won't stay that way.
Okay, so if it was Sacramento,
Mavs,
Memphis.
Mavs.
All right. Your continued disrespect of the Memphis Grizzlies remains.
I'll continue to disrespect them.
Careful, John might put a laser on you.
He might. You never know.
You're like the Jason Kidd of stubbornness, as the Mavs are 2 in the West.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
No, so I don't think Phoenix will stay where they are. I don't know where the Mavs will wind up being, but they don't. There's not. I mean, who in the West right now? Phoenix is kind of scary. Like, I get it. They're scary. The Mavs seem to do well against them right now, but we haven't seen this new iteration of them.
Mavs will win a playoff series. True or false?
true, but I don't feel great about it because I mean they very easily could end up playing Golden State or Phoenix or somebody. Like it's so close in terms of the standings right now that I just don't know. But I think more like if you look at the collection of teams around them, I think they're better than most of them. So I'll lean towards true.